Hello friends, welcome to Squared Plans. I'm Stephanie and today we're going to be setting up our faith planners for the month of August. And I've got this Tombow brush pen here ready to go, as well as these washi tapes I may use, this sticker sheet that I kind of set up with my theme in mind, and these sticker books which I'll pull from. Okay, so to begin, let's start with the first spread, the monthly layout, and this month I decided to do this study of 31 amazing words from the Bible. So I'm going to go ahead and set this guy up with some wax paper and get started on the theme I'm going to be using. I decided to use these soft colored florals from the Homebody Season sticker book. I've had this book for a little while now, and I don't know. I like the florals, but I'm not in love with the florals, if that makes sense. So I was debating whether I wanted to use them here, but when I grabbed the washi tape and kind of made a little bit of a colored theme using those, I liked them more. So I'm just going to go ahead and use the clear big stickers here to fill up the empty boxes for the month, and just trying to get a variety of color and sizes here to use and fill that space. So I've already cut off one of the leaves on one of those florals. The leaf was shaped a little bit weird and I really wasn't liking that, so just trim that off, and now I'm going to try to create a little combination up here at the top. Again, just for some repetition. I like to do that on my spreads just so you feel like it's themed all around, not just, one clump. If you add it around the spread, it kind of just feels more like a nice cohesive theme. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I laid a few more stickers there down at the bottom, and then I found this smaller floral which I thought would work better up here in the corner, because I wasn't really liking that light blue leafy part up here next to it. It just wasn't working. Now that I've got that up there, I'm going to go ahead and put that blue leafy thing back and try to figure out how I want this to go on the actual spread. So I had pulled a few little Bible stickers for the inside of the spreads for the weeklies, but I didn't really figure out what I wanted to do here on the monthly. But since I'm going to be using those on the weekly, I thought maybe I could pull those in here on the monthly as well, just again to theme everything out and kind of show some repetition. So I was trying to decide how I might use these. On that scripture study that I showed earlier, there is the actual word that I'll be focusing on for the day and the scriptures that it came from for me to read. Not real sure exactly how I want to put this sticker, if I want to use it at the bottom or as a lead-in for the verse, or maybe as a divider between the word and the verse. I'm trying to figure that out right now. Also playing around with the colors. I had it all mixed up kind of before, but then I started to think maybe it would be nice to kind of gradiate the color across. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. So I know I have enough to do the whole month. Still not sure if that's exactly where they're going to live, but for now I have a plan and we'll figure it out once I actually put them down onto the paper. So I've whited out the fine lines dividing out those empty boxes. While that dries, I'll go ahead and pencil in the title of this month's study, and then I'll go back over it with my brush pen. And I'll just go ahead and move over the florals now that the white pen ink has dried. Lay those in, and then get this ready for me to actually ink in the lettering. I will say that this time around I didn't do a very good job with the lettering. Was kind of rushing it a bit, so it came out okay, but it's a little bit less fluid than I was hoping it would come out as. But, well, you know, just work with what you have. So I'm going to go ahead and move over the florals now in this upper corner and then trim that out, that part that's hanging over. And now I'm going to figure out how exactly I want to lay these guys in. So I'm just going to pencil in the first word of the month and then also the verse that goes with it and just see if I like this layout with the word kind of above and the verse below. And I think that'll work. So I'm going to go ahead and just start laying in all of those stickers now using one color per day in that somewhat gradiated format I developed earlier. And just going to quickly lay that in. I'm not going to bother putting in the words right now here on camera. Just know it's kind of the setup I'm going to do. Probably what I'll end up doing is penciling in all of the words for the month, and then as I go through the month, I'll ink it in with whatever color pen I'm using for the month's lettering theme. I usually pick 2 colors plus black for the entire month that I use for the lettering portion. So I'll just use that and probably oscillate between the 2 every other day. And that should do that. So I think we're good there on that spread. Moving on to the first weekly. And like I said, I had pulled the theme a little bit ahead of time just to make sure everything would work. So I'm going to go ahead and set up the wax paper now and use that to figure out what I'm going to do for each of the week's themes. I've grabbed 4 verses from the Faith accessory book and the florals again from the Homebody Seasons sticker book. Just trying to figure out how I want this to fill the space. I'm basically going to be using that this week area for mainly the decor, and then of course Monday through Sunday I'll be lettering in the verse of the day, which is how I use my Faith weeklies. And then maybe add some washi tape here and there throughout, maybe across the bottom. So I had pulled all of these washi tapes to coordinate color-wise with each of the verses that I pulled. And some of my washi tapes are a little bit too thick for the way I want to use them. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it down in half using my slice precision cutter, which I really love, and my little cutting mat. And now I am kind of laying out how that might look for one spread. Also going to add some of this dot watercolor washi in, probably with the design of the decor corner there under this week. So let's see how that comes out. I really just felt like I needed to fill up this space a little bit better. So that is why I am kind of moving things around and then adding in some washi to see what might work here. I also think it'd be nice to add a little bit more of the color for the week. So I'm going to go ahead and use some more of this washi in the color scheme and beef up that border I've got going here around the verse. And I think I like that. I feel like that combination just kind of fills the space well, gives a nice look to it. I will trim off the edges of the washi so it will look a little bit cleaner when I'm done. And I was going to do it there, but I just decided no, I'll just do it all at once when I lay it down. Since I have 4 spreads that are going to look very similar, I'm just going to use this one wax paper overlay and kind of simulate what all 4 spreads will look like in that this weak corner and go from there. So that way I don't have to do the wax paper each spread, and just kind of get it all done at once. So I'm going to use these little floral borders on each one. One thing I realized a little bit later in the video is that some of them are mirrored and some of them aren't. So I wanted to make sure that each of the floral borders weren't like right on top of each other. They looked a little bit more random. So I'm going to be trying to select the ones that will look opposite each other, which you'll see what I mean in a minute. So I put in that dot washi that I'll be using, and then I'm also preparing the washi for the color schemes. So I decided to do just a border color across the bottom and then the washi inside around the quote. So I'm cutting these all down. And then I have one washi that's pretty much the right size. It's a little bit larger than the half cut size of the washi that I'm using on the other spreads, but I think I can make it work without having to cut this guy down around the quote. So we'll just go ahead and work that in. The bigger washis, I grabbed those all from a pastel set that I had from Joann's, and then this one here that's a little bit thinner came from an Amazon kit I got of kind of soft pastel neutrals that I really like. So both of those will be down in the description, along with anything else here that I'm using. I'll also include a link to the study I'm going to be doing for the monthly. So if you're looking for any of that, just check the description below. And if there's something that you can't find there, just reach out in the comments and I'll be sure to get back to you. So I'm laying in some more of that dot pattern because I'm a little bit short there for that last one. And I figured I would use it again somewhere else, so I cut it down just like I did the rest and kept it long. I think I might add that in maybe across the bottom on them. I haven't decided yet. So we'll get started by moving over the first one, and I'll just kind of tear out the middle section so that I can trim it pretty easily, and then lay it in once I figure out exactly where those florals should go. I'm just going to kind of line those strips up right up against it, and then here is where I realized, okay, so sometimes they are mirrored looking. So I wanted like the bigger blue floral not to be right on top of each other going down the page. I wanted it to be staggered like you saw me do there. So all of these, I'm going to be kind of thinking about that as I lay them in. I want the florals to look a little bit more random looking instead of so symmetrically mirrored. And that one was a tiny bit short, so I wanted to make sure that it filled the entire box space like a border. So just redid that, and I'm going to lay that in along with the floral strip, like I mentioned, looking for the ones that would not be mirrored. And then just switching that other one out too. So now I should be all set. Gonna lay that guy in, as well as this box, again trimming it each time. I really like how this actually turned out. It's a little bit repetitive, but I like that the color variation goes from week to week, and then that the verse is changing each week, so there'll be something fresh to look at as I go through the month. And I laid that one down a little bit crooked, a little bit off into the next day, but it wasn't going to come back up very easily, and I just didn't feel like fighting it. So it's small enough that I don't think it's going to be a big deal. And then this guy, I just wanted to fix the alignment a little bit, and then put in the rest of the florals. Okay, so I'm going to lay in the washi strips along the bottom, coordinating each day like I mentioned before. I'm thinking about this month might be a little different for the actual pens I decide to use, since each week has its own color scheme. I might do something where the colors match the week this month, which might be a little bit different. So stay tuned for that. Check my Instagram. I will post my after the pens each week so you can see how they come out and what I decide to do. If you're not on Instagram, you can always see the final results of the month. In my flip through videos, I go through all of my spreads for the entire month and show you how they turned out. So check that out if you're interested in seeing what the final results are. And just trying to line this guy up right up with the edge. Sometimes it's a little bit trickier than I want it to be. And then just trimming off the excess. This one here, like I mentioned, is a little bit thicker than half of the other sized washi. So I'm going to do a little bit of an overlap on the bottom and then just trim that part off. That way it doesn't look too different. And that looks good. One more here to go. And I think that little pop of color is kind of fun. Hopefully I have pens for each of these colors to do what I want to do, because I think that will look really cute if I do kind of theme each week with a color. And I decided to use that small dot patterned washi here at the bottom of the monthly, just to kind of give it a little extra oomph and tie it in with the rest with that dot pattern. And finally, I wasn't real happy with the way this guy turned out. The color I had in my Tombow was a little bit bright, and then plus there was that, not real clean execution of the lettering. So I'm going to grab my Twim marker here that I use in my weekly in different colors, and just kind of make a shadowing next to the letters. This takes some concentration so that I don't mess up, because I always put it on the wrong side by mistake, so I have to really think about it as I'm doing it. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, just kind of outline the letters, and that way it just kind of tones down the brightness of the peachy orange tone a bit. And I felt like that matched a little bit better with the color scheme I have on the spread. So just doing kind of a fine outline here of a shadowing. And then I have to do a little cleanup with my white pen too in a minute, because I kind of messed some areas up. But once I'm done with that, you guys, we will be done, friends. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below. Go ahead and leave me a comment if you'd like to get in touch. And think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, if you'd like to see more of my videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. Bye.